Alright YouTube, so we are back, of course, to talk about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and today we have just kind of a bit of a follow-up to our last video. It's about the Ultimania Plus that's coming out in July, I believe July 15th. And it's actually something that I had missed whenever I talked about the Ultimania Plus with the last video, and it's that we actually got a brief description of the Ultimania Plus itself, and they actually teased that the Ultimania is going to give us some clues about the next installment, so Remake Part 2, which is actually a pretty goddamn big deal. And from my interpretation of the brief description we got of the Ultimania Plus, it seems like they're going to be discussing maybe the ending of Remake, because that's obviously like the big WTF moment from the game itself, and something we need a bit of answers on. There's a lot of stuff that happens at the end of the game, so are they going to talk about everything, or just one particular thing? I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, the description reads, the Remake Material Ultimania Plus contains development contents that was not covered in the previously released FF7 Material Ultimania book back in October 2020. This includes CG art of characters, enemies, locations, and more within the game. There will also be a new Q&A with Co-Director Toriyama, where he talks about memorable scenes in the game, as well as discuss the script from a certain scene that will offer clues to the next installment too. In addition, character lines spoken during battle, as well as NPC lines when you walk around the city, will be shown too. CG and concept art of Yuffie and development info about the DLC, along with scenario breakdown, will also be available in this book. So some of the other takeaways from this description are that we're going to get like NPC dialogue from while you're walking around the world, which could be pretty interesting. There could be some lines that people just haven't heard yet, or maybe you haven't walked up to every single NPC in your game or something like that. So there could be some interesting stuff there. Also the dialogue during combat. I know there's some unique things, like we're seeing Sephiroth on screen right now. During the Sephiroth fight at the end of the game, like he says lines specifically for who's in the fight with him, when you, like who's on your team and shit. So there could be some interesting stuff there for like character dialogue during combat. Also the Yuffie DLC being a part of the book, that makes sense. This Material Ultimania Plus is coming out like a month after Intermission, so it makes sense that the DLC will be a part of that. But obviously the big takeaway here, or at least the major talking point, is that Co-Director Toriyama is going to talk about the script of a certain scene that will give us clues about the next installment. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the ending of the game, but that just seems to make the most sense, right? There's a lot of shit that happens at the end of the game. Biggs is alive. You have the weird moment where like Marlene senses Barrett, despite Barrett like being outside of Midgar. She like sends him through the plant. You have, of course, Sephiroth and Cloud at the edge of creation, and then obviously us defeating the Whisperers. It seems like maybe, you know, Zack is alive. There's just a lot of things, a lot of ramifications from us defeating the Whisper Harbinger. So who knows exactly which scene in particular, and it may not even be, again, a scene from the ending of the game. To be honest, out of the scenes we just kind of discussed, I don't even know which one I want more of an explanation of, and I don't even know that I want a full-on direct explanation until we get Part 2 out. Like, I don't know. As much as I'm desperate for info about Part 2 and actually desperate for info at the ending of Remake, I don't know if I want them to just straight up tell us what is going on before we actually play the next game. Not that I'm totally against that, and I doubt we're going to get like some in-depth explanation anyways, regardless of whatever Toriyama is going to discuss. It's just that part of me likes the anticipation. Part of me likes the theory crafting and just discussing other theories and things out there. I suppose if I had to choose one, though, I think the most obvious one is the Zack situation. Like, what is going on? Are we in a different timeline? Are there multiple timelines? Is Zack alive? Like, what are the ramifications of us defeating the Whisperers? And as I said in the past, like, if us defeating the Whisperers at the end of Remake defeated them all throughout time, and that's how it saved Zack and prevented him from dying in that moment, there should be so many other things that happen, right? If we're defeating them all throughout time, then there should be so many other people that do die and don't die, and these things happen and those things don't happen. Like, there should be so many other things that take place. Or suppose also don't take place. Either way, it's definitely exciting. It's something to look forward to. Like, the Ultimania is always kind of interesting. There's always a lot of information in those things. And we're going to get more information about the DLC. Like, once we get it out, people are playing it, and we learn whatever this has to tell us. We'll even have some DLC-related shit within this Ultimania as well that'll explain probably more things. But it's also nice knowing that we're going to have something in regards to Part 2 within this Ultimania, even if it's just little teases and hints. It's at least something that gets us discussing the next game. Other than that, that is pretty much the video, so of course I want to pass it up to you guys. When it comes to Toriyama talking about the script of a certain scene that gives us clues about the next installment, what do you think that's going to be? Leave your thoughts more in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys already want to see more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter, @DavidYT. I'm on Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description. And in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.